For some strange reason, I would had to run my mouse all the way along to find the right bloody button because I'm an idiot.
How do I find the right button?
Shows you how switched on I am today.
Oh, this is going to be a really fun conversation, isn't it? Because we're both like,
dead to the world. Hello, people of the internet. Goodbye, people of the internet. Right.
It's sleepy time.
It's sleepy time. So, welcome to TT Conversations. This week I have Ian Harris. Hello, Ian Harris.
That's me.
I want to say your whole fucking name. Ian Harris.
It's the shortest name ever because I was told I wasn't allowed a long name. My parents were just like, you and your brother can have the shortest name possible so people can't short it. I was like, that's not a phrase. You can't short.
See, now I feel like I need to come up with a longer version of Ian.
Okay, a longer version.
A longer version. I will ponder this.
No, like one of my like colleagues from when I was younger used to call me Yanto all the time. I was just like, is that from the Torchwood? And she was like, no, I'm just Welsh. I'm just Welshian. It doesn't have to all be about Doctor Who and the universe of Doctor Who.
No, it's Torchwood. Yeah. This is a Torchwood reference.
Yeah. So I'm Yanto for those who want to make the name longer.
Ianopolis.
That is
That's the city.
That's the city. Yeah.
The city of Ianopolis.
That's when I do eventually take over the world, and I have my kind of like my city that that I
you do play a very good villain, so I feel like Ianopolis would be the perfect name. Ianopolis.
All the statues of like lining the streets are all of me kind of going, yeah. And there's going to be one at the end of like the main sort of like thoroughfare through holding a can of baked beans at the top of it.
Oh Lord. Right.
Anyway.
No.
Sorry.
No. It's fine. This is the way it works. It's just total carnage. Total carnage. So let's start at the very beginning, says Charlotte Pollard. Hello, Charlotte.
Hello, Charlotte.
Hello, Doctor.
Where was the beginning?
Future. The past of future.
The past of future. Yes, I suppose that was the beginning for me. So the first thing I'm going to say about that is anyone who's watched the conversation with Matt Barrett, and if you haven't, go and watch it. Now, he makes a very bold claim in that video that I am incapable of writing short scripts, and I would like to have it on YouTube on record that I just don't write short scripts for him. Like, I kind of, didn't feel like in that zone. I didn't want to do like the short script thing. So, no, I mean, it was literally just a case of seeing that Matt, who I've known for many years, was kind of trying to pull together his own Doctor, as I know a lot of people in TT are and have and do, and that's what we do. And will be, yes. Past, the present, and future of the TT Doctors. But he was kind of like, I've got loads of really, really good ideas for this thing, but I don't really know what to kind of do with it at this point. And me being me, I just kind of went, I'll write you a script. I'll do something. And so I wrote Future Selves. That kind of fell out of my brain onto the page.
I like it when that happens.
It's bloop. Script done.
Script.
But I had this habit of writing things that I've written other scripts for other things in the same is like the classic Doctor Who kind of thing.
Yeah.
That 4 episode, kind of half an hour. So I don't think so. That's kind of where it all sort of started from. Taking the idea of his Doctor and actually plugging it into a story. And the fun bit about that is I got to know all of the TT guys through that process. Looking at no one.
Hello, people of the internet. I am TT Guy.
But then it was taking all of your TikToks and things like that and seeing what I could do with it. So like there was Tina.
Especially like Tina and Jim and
Jim. And
me.
Rani.
That
was a big part.
I love her. I would quite happily, if I had to drop every single character and just play one, as much as people would think that I just want to be Jenny my whole life, it would probably be Rani because she's so much fun.
Seriously, it was one of those, like, probably my only regret about that script was that the Rani wasn't the Rani as the Rani more. If that makes any
Right
sense.
at the end.
Right at the end, we got the Rani. I was just like, no, she should have been right the way through it, but that would have kind of spoiled the narrative. But when you did those scenes, and I was like a little child on that day when we recorded that, and you were doing the
This
scenes,
is when this is when it's nice that we can't see each other's faces when we're recording.
Yeah. Oh no. I was like, mute, Ian, mute, stop laughing, stop giggling and getting excited, because it's Rani time.
It's just nice, like, because I've done Rani both live and not live, and the live is so much more fun because I get to poke and prod and giggle at the doctor while he's trying to deliver these massive speeches. Oh, she's just crazy ass bitch. I love her.
She's crazy. She's the right kind of crazy. Right kind of crazy. But no, that was great fun. And I did, it kind of went from there, really. I mean, I went a little bit hyperactive on TT scripts after that, because I think I wrote, now let me get this right, I wrote
Keeper.
11 episodes for Future over sort of August and September.
I like it when you get those spikes, though. I'm going for a spike at the moment currently because I'm writing. I've just finished Match Girls.
Yeah.
I'm writing. I have my little list.
It's not a little list.
Not
People
a
of the
little
internet.
list.
It's a very
so I'm
long
currently
list.
Writing Reanimated, which is the zombie one set in the 1860s. Trial of Heaven, which is one for you. The first episode of Dickensian, which has Charles Dickens in it as a boy.
Awesome.
I'm writing something for Jed's channel with a character called Mary. Yeah. And I've just started writing the next Paternoster Gang, which isn't out till July, War on the Moon. So
yeah. There's a lot going on, isn't it? We do that, don't we? We often
I'm going for a spike, but I can never just have one script. I'm not one of those sort of people. It's like I'll be working on Reanimated for a bit, and then I'll shift to another script, and I'll usually like shuffle through. ADHD, my brain is just like, you are spiking at the moment. Write as many scripts as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it was very kind of future heavy at the beginning, and I ended up writing, where are we, 11, 12, like 15 or something, I've lost count now, scripts for Future before I kind of stopped that and kind of went, I want to do something else. But I'm kind of doctor collecting at the moment.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of, because I kind of like, I thought, as much as I've got so many plans for things that are not Doctor Who related, and I love all of that, and I actually, in many ways, spoiler alert, prefer all of that, but
that's why I write most of that at the moment.
Yeah. But I kind of I got so invested in what TT Productions were trying to do with like Doctor Who and that side of things, and I was like, you've got so many good ideas, you've got this whole narrative, all these doctors, these different, like, just completely different takes on the Doctor and Doctor Who in general. And I was just like, no, I kind of want to do a bit for each one. And the first break I took in writing Future was actually for Dickensian.
I love that script. I cannot wait. I say she's starting, because I had said that I'd wait for the My Dear Pip stuff to fizzle away. But that's taken longer than expected. So I think Dickensian's going to be coming a little bit sooner than expected.
So yeah,
yay.
I'm really excited for that, because I'm not going to give away too many spoilers about it, so spoil it for people, but
just say my doctor's a fucking idiot.
I wrote the first draft of that script in a day, over the Christmas period. I think I just spent the entire day sat at my dining room table writing it, cackling to myself because it was just so ridiculous and so funny. I don't think I had so much fun. I had so much fun because Dickensian is just such an idiot.
She gets stuck. She gets stuck in the mud in mine, so she gets pulled out by a 12-year-old Charles Dickens.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But that was my first deviation, because like with Future, there's a lot of kind of mental health stuff going on in there.
Yeah.
there's a lot of kind of like dementia, I suppose, is referred to on a couple of occasions, and probably will be a little
Yeah.
bit more. But there's a lot of mental health stuff going on in future, so it can be quite dark, I suppose, in a subtle way at times.
Yeah.
I lighten the mood by Tina's character just repeatedly hitting stuff with chairs and breaking furniture, and that's kind of like the lighter side of that, I guess. But there's a lot going on, so it was really nice to kind of come in and write something in a completely different vein, because it's like it's much more of a kind of modern Who type episode.
Yeah,
really,
it is.
that kind of
30
structure.
minutes and out.
yeah, done and off.
And off we go. Next one.
ADHD.
The ADHD doctor.
Yeah. Well, that was it. It was like, a script for people with ADHD. By people with ADHD.
Speed, hi.
And yeah, and then so I've been trying to collect doctors ever since. So I've written another one. I've written a chronicle one, so that would be a future, not a future series, but a future project.
A future project with Chronicle. God knows when he's coming out.
But that one will be something that happens at some point, and then in the
have you ticked off Queer yet?
Next series of Queer.
Oh,
the one that's shortly in production at the moment. But the one that's follows that, I've got a script in there.
Season 4.
Yeah. That's
because his doctor sticks around. My doctor's literally around for like 8 episodes. Spoiler.
In, done.
In, out, done. ADHD doctor.
There she goes. Although to be fair, how she survives for 8 episodes, I'm not sure.
I have not got a clue.
No idea.
This is why I've said she's not having a companion. Spoilers. But I don't think she could. I don't think she would have kept them alive. To be fair. Oh, that one died.
Damn
I'll get another one.
But yeah, so that's kind of the writing side of things at the moment, and there's just so many ideas of so many different things that are non-Who. But what's so nice is that you guys have already got these established ranges and things, and it's really nice to kind of come in and, again, I've been really busy, I'm sorry, but I've not had a chance to do a Pat bite yet, but I'd love to get my hands on a Pat bite.
Do it. We have so many we need to do. It's just trying to find a time, because we try to do those in the day.
Yeah.
Because we have a habit of getting the 3 of us together and then sitting down for like 2 hours and just recording a load.
Yeah.
And then we pick them up, pop them in the Dropbox, and then to say to anybody who edits, the script is there, the audio is there. If you get a chance, crack it out, and then Abby will turn it into a magical video and it will appear on YouTube. That's how we run the Pat Bites now, because we have like 5 editors, including Chelsea. So it's nice because rather than her sat down editing a 2-hour audio, she's doing like 8 minutes. So it's a little bit nicer for her to like tiptoe onto that side.
There's something really nice about those, I think, as well. It's like we were having that conversation before when I kind of mentioned before that, writing short scripts for me apparently isn't a thing. When I first learned how to write scripts, it was sort of monologues and duologues mainly. They were lasting sort of like about 4 or 5 minutes. They were really, really short. So it would be quite nice to go back to that.
Yeah.
And occasionally, very occasionally, I feel like I've made a rod for my own back, kind of going, no, these must be 4 episodes long. They're a full length kind of. No, no, calm down.
I think the longest Pat Bite we've had, or we have, is 9 pages long, I think, because for our next batch we've had some patrons write, and we've had Vicky write. I think we have 8 in the lineup, and I wrote 1. Called Dream State Tree, which is the sweetest, most loved up thing I've ever fucking written in my life. And I've been writing Vastra and Jenny for over a year now, and this Dream State Tree just makes you want to hurl.
There you go, look out for that one, people of the internet.
Yay, Jenny and Vastra are in lava.
Get your sick bags at the ready.
I kid you not, you've not been recording with me and Alia, but we'll do all those like at the end, like as an example. in Beyond British Shores, there's like a waterfall scene, which is like the first time like they sleep together.
Hmm.
And I remember after we done that scene, we stopped recording, and then me and Ali were like, love.
No, thank you. No, thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm good. I'm good. Going to go wash my hands. No,
Just gonna go shower now.
just go shower now. Yes. Oh Lord. So
Oh.
speaking of like Vastra and before Vastra, was Man Who Moves Bricks the first role you ever had in TT?
Yes, I believe it was. It was a a very critical part for me to play. And I'm
If it's any
known.
consolation, I've just done the same thing to Emily. So I had somebody. I was supposed to have a man in to play the Frenchman in
Yeah.
R101.
Yes, yes.
And all of a sudden he had to pull, and I was like, Emily, you speak French. Can you come be
Yeah.
this character? She was like, yeah, sure. But obviously, because she hadn't heard the rest of the build up for like Chambers' hands getting set on fire, and the fact that he was having a bang on the door and all these hands were on like burnt to a crisp and stuff. And she's there like, oh, hello. And Chambers is like, ah, ah. And she's like, I wasn't prepared for this.
This is not what I was expecting. Yes, I believe, right, going back to the beginning, because let's try and do this chronologically, otherwise I'm going to get confused. So Man was the first. There was a real running joke around that, I think, after the event, because weirdly enough, I was a little bit like, I'm not really fussed about kind of the voice acting side of things at the moment. I'm quite busy, but if you need help with casting anything, and Abby was just like, no, I just need a couple of lines for someone, like a different voice to come in. But she didn't tell me, dear viewers, she didn't tell me that I was responsible for possibly one of the most emotional scenes up until that point in Before Vastra. I just come in, move a brick, things collapse, people die, people lose legs, limbs everywhere, and I just toddle off with my brick.
Literally, it's in Before Vastra 3, and it's just after Harold's accident where a building falls on him. And Ian was a man who was like, oh no, there's people over here, and like moving bricks around and all this stuff. But this said man is not in the opening of Before Vastra 4. He did a runner. Basically, Ian wasn't available, so we had to get somebody else in. So Ian's man wasn't there. So Ian's man literally made a building full on Harold and then legged it.
Well, I mean, you would, wouldn't you? If you realised you were responsible for that, you'd be like, right, bye. I'm going to go and pursue a different job now because I'm clearly
I'm going to go baked bean selling.
Yeah. And that's what happened, I think. I think the Cockney man who made the building collapse, I think that was the next thing I did, wasn't it? Is I went a bit posh and started
yes,
to...
you were working in BV6. You were working in the shop. Yeah, Fortnum and Mason.
Selling baked beans. And that's, at the time that was lovely. That was so much fun to do because...
But now it's a running joke that Ian is the baked bean man.
You buy my Heinz baked beans. It was brilliant for me because it was like voice acting lottery almost, because where
what
I was
will we be doing today?
Yes, spin the wheel. Are we going to maim someone or sell beans? What's going to happen? Who knows? But yeah, and because I was like, it was a ridiculously busy time. There was a lot going on, but Abby was just I just need some little snippet. It won't take too much of your time, just little snippets coming in, and I'm like, yeah, sure, just put me down for whatever. It's kind of fine. And it was literally a case of Abby was like, and this week I want you to sell baked beans. And I was just like, cracking, I can do that, not a problem. Give us the beans and off I go, kind of thing. So yeah,
it's just the thought of somebody actually having to sell like baked beans, the finest you'll ever see.
No,
1886 baked beans come to the UK, and of course Abby's brain goes, the history of baked beans, and this, like, they were first sold in Fortnum and Mason. So I'm setting this in Fortnum and Mason's, right?
That was brilliant fun because it's not just those little parts where you're kind of there for color, you know, kind of in the background. It was actually part of kind of what was going on, because you had these characters trying to steal stuff, and I had
Yeah.
to do the whole stop thief bit. You know, you felt like Baked Bean Man was part of the action.
Yes. Caught those wretched women trying to steal baked beans.
But yeah, I can't remember if I was I in BV again after that. I don't think I was I?
No, I think that
Remember.
was it for BV. So that just shows your range, Ian.
Yeah, I was I was a crap builder, didn't know what I was doing, little bit dodgy, to Baked Bean Man, you know. I just kind of bridged the class system there in that,
So
that
your
era.
first proper like lead role within TT was Ice Warrior dude.
Yes, I think it was that I did have a part in Keeper's Daughter as well, which
Yeah,
coincided.
yeah.
But
Evil dude in Keeper's Daughter.
oh, just evil people.
Yeah,
Or
but you play
misguided
evil really
people.
well.
There's no need to actually, you know, there's no effort.
Not acting, it's the beard. I am evil now.
So yeah, what happened there? So again, so we had two very different things going on, because I was playing.
Was that ran about the same sort of time as well, wasn't it?
Ran about the same
Keeper's
sort of
Daughter and
time.
the Ice Warrior.
Yeah, so I was playing Calestri in Keeper's Daughter, who was kind of like Jafar in the Doctor. I mean, it was one of those things. I wrote it and I thought, I never really I don't really ever want to play any parts that I've written, because I can kind of see other people doing. Yeah, I can see other people doing them, and you always feel like a fresh set of eyes.
I think the only person I'm not like that with is Jen. I can't let go of Jenny. She's mine,
Jenny. But you know,
sorry, Catherine, she's mine now.
At the time, it was a case of like casting it was a bit of a pain in the backside, and when I read it, I was just like, well, I can do that really easily, because it's very similar to a part that I played on stage once many years ago, and he was just like this really kind of just the camp villainy. You can imagine him having like a massive collar and sort of like a bit of Roger Delgado-ish kind of going on, but with a cape, you know,
yes,
swishing around all over the place. So that was Calestri. That was he was like, it was a bit pantomime villainy. And then at the same time, it was the Ice Warrior. It was Gartrox. It was
Gartrox, yeah,
in Absolute Zero.
Which you have an asthma attack.
Which was difficult, yes, from a medical point of view. It was pretty tricky. No, it was. That was incredible. That was so much fun. It was one of those cases.
And he got to kill Chelsea.
I know.
Sad face.
I didn't really want to kill Chelsea.
Nobody ever wants to kill off Chelsea. I haven't done
lovely.
it yet.
Well, now that we've had this conversation, we know full well that we're going to be casting Chelsea in parts in the future where we kill her off.
Kill her off.
Just because.
The only person who I've had so far, so Aidan O'Connor, he's been in 3 TT productions, and every single one he's died.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry, Aidan.
Okay, it's all right, Aidan. I'll cast you in something in the future, and I won't kill you. Promise.
You won't say live. Promise.
Promise loosely.
Oh crap! You died.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh damn! I changed the script at the last minute. No. Absolute Zero was an absolute pleasure. It was a real joy to do. It was one of those nice kind of scenarios where Brandon, I know, kind of he kind of pitched the script to a couple of people, I think both of us included, kind of just wanted to get our views and a bit of script editing going on. So I kind of went through it, and as I was going through it, I was just like, I just love this. I think it's so much fun. And I can't honestly remember that. I think the way I land parts, I think like this in TT is I just randomly kind of go, well, I think it should sound a little bit like this.
You actually auditioned for this one.
I did. See, you remember better than I do.
It's only because I see all the auditions come in, because obviously it's on. Yes. All of us have got access to the TT Productions email.
Yes, I remember. I
remember you auditioning. Yeah,
I remember doing that now, because I was kind of adamant at the time that reading the script, because he does all those jokes about the Lego hands and stuff in there, And I love that. And I was like, I'm determined for this to be a bit of a classic Ice Warrior, because if you haven't guessed, dear viewer, I'm very much classic Who side of the camp.
Love a bit of classic Who.
So yeah, so I ended up doing some, I suppose, kind of impression of one of the ones from one of the Peladon stories, I think, is where that came from. And I ended up being strategist and I can just remember just like wetting myself laughing every time I had to do, no, my precious experiment, every time I was just like, my precious. But he was really cool because, unlike Calestri, who is a bit kind of not exactly two-dimensional, even though I wrote him, I admit that.
Evil man done.
Evil man. And then you had Gartrox. Brandon wrote him really, really well, because I was then able to play him so many, with so many layers. He was just like, he was a bullied Ice Warrior. He was bullied and broken and resenting the universe as a result. So there were so many different layers to him. It was just lovely to play that part.
Destroyed Ice Warrior. We love it.
He's a bit broken, but and quite
bad Ice Warrior.
Naughty Ice Warrior. And yes, and that's, I suppose that's where I started doing monsters as well as
like a proper role rather than like a bit part.
Yeah. I think that's where the proper role started to come in, wasn't it? But so much fun. I love doing villains and monsters. I just love.
Speaking of villains, Tusks, Mr. Kredge.
Yes, Sebby.
That was fun. Sebby, good old Seb.
Good old Seb. Here's another one. Now that I stop and think about it, he's another one he's been sort of mistreated in his perception by other people, and as a result he's become really spiteful, and he's kind of become the bully. It's kind of a similar, I think there's a similar thing with a lot of villains. They're a little bit kind of
tragic backstory. You have to have it, like oh woe is me.
But he was quite fun because he was sort of just a little bit weird.
This is the one thing I love about all the Tusk scripts. They're all kind of written. We've deliberately written them so they're kind of like caricatures.
Yeah.
Like the pictures in Charles Dickens books when you see like Fagin and they're all kind of really cartoony, and that's how me and Josh kind of pitched. So there's the whole of Tusks,
melodrama, isn't there?
So the whole of Tusks is very much like we said. It's like Dodger meets Sarah Jane Adventures, but everybody is drawn like a caricature. So it is very much like the
I had a bit of a My Precious moment, like in the opening scene of that story,
where
I've got my artifact, my orb, my sphere, and you shall go in the safe place. It was all that kind of stuff. But he was really nice. He was great because when I was talking to Josh about it, when he kind of approached me to do the role, I was just like, right, well, how do you want this? How do you want him to be? And we kind of like bandied it backwards and forwards a little bit. And I was just like, so basically it comes across a little bit like he doesn't give a shit. And there were some bits in there that I just loved, when he's like threatening people with guns and he's shooting people and he's shooting things and he's just like shooting the place up, and people are just like, no, you've killed my henchman, sort of thing. And I'm just like, yeah.
I just love the maid. The maid is my favourite in that thing.
Yes.
And maid. My maid, your maid, it stands for, I can't even remember what it was, but it was so funny. It's the way you said it. It's just so like blasé.
Yeah, it's just like it's oh god, what was it? Something
manual
automaton invented daringly. Or something like that. It was like that really corny kind of line, but it was just like, yeah, this is what I chose to call it, so
why not?
Deal with it. He's got this beautiful kind of arrogance to Kredge, which was so much fun.
Oh, he's fun, and I'm sure we might see him again at some other point. Yay! Spoilers. So, moving on from Tusks, since then, obviously you've been cast in Reanimated? Yes.
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 Yes. I've been
I'm
casting
getting my
quite.
casting confusing. Yes, Reanimated.
Yeah.
Because you are token posh man who doesn't like women. So lead role.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is going to be that's going to be an interesting one because I think I'm actually quite a feminist. So
Pushing the acting boundaries to be mean to
yeah,
Katie Haynes.
yeah, I think I'm just
Have
going
you
to
worked
have
with
to.
Katie?
I've not worked with
Oh,
Katie
that's going to
yet.
make it even worse.
It's going to be
Hello,
kind of
Katie.
awkward.
I'm going to be a horrible man to you.
Yeah, I'm going to be quite misogynistic with you, so sorry.
I apologise.
But I know of Katie obviously through various
Mm.
things, and she comes across as a very lovely person. So it's going to be really, really
It's going to be
difficult
fun. It's going
to
to be.
treat
It
her
is going to be
horribly.
fun
Um,
to do that because it's all been cast. The script's not even bloody finished yet, but I've got some right chalkers in that one, man. It's going to be fun.
I am looking forward to it because again, he's kind of he's not a villain in the traditional sense. He's just not a very nice
It's just
person.
Victorian.
Yeah, yeah.
His
By like,
his villainous is just the era.
yeah, absolutely. He's a product of his sort of time and his
Yeah,
upbringing, I think, really. So
yeah, hands
that's going to
down.
be really fun to sort of dabble with, even though he's going to be one of those. I think, like in a similar vein, I suppose that was Matt feels about Mr. B. He does the part, and then he
Yeah.
comes away from that. He finishes the scene and just kind of goes, "Oh God."
Oh no! Oh, you weren't at the script read for Molly too.
Oh dear.
Oh Lord! Literally, Vanessa, who's playing Imogen. So when because she was in Molly 1 as Molly's mum.
Right.
And so she listened to all of BV before she started doing Molly because context. And she messaged me while she was in the woods, like, Abby, I just listened to BV3 and I had to stop and go to a place that's public because Mr. B appeared. So as soon as Strax started doing the Mr. B stuff, you just saw her take her headphones off.
No, tapping out.
No,
We're done.
it's all right, but she had a scene with him as well, and you could just see her after every line, like, help.
Yeah, no, but I kind of picture him in a similar kind of vein. But again, a complex person and not a very nice person, but just doing what he perceives is right because of his experience, really.
Yes.
I suppose like the kind of the character that's sort of a little bit outside of the vein for me so far will be the R101.
It's bad to talk about R101.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, let's talk about
R101.
And yeah, I'm hoping people have listened to this already
Yeah, well, this isn't out for the R101 for us as we're recording is out tomorrow, but this isn't out for ages until after that's come out. So they should have had the chance to.
So go and listen to it because there's a spoiler coming up now. I live!
Yay!
I'm alive!
There's not many!
There's not many, and I got through to the end by being thoroughly bossy and actually having no kind of social life whatsoever.
It's the line. I think my favourite line that you delivered was, "Is there an oil leak? You don't seem like you're sure."
yeah. Like, oh, for God's sake, come on.
Here we go.
I'm already annoyed. The rotors are scrapped. I'm really annoyed. People aren't doing what I tell them to do. This is just rubbish.
Why is there a person missing? Fuck no.
Yeah. This is doomed. this is completely doomed. I tell you what, my favourite bit about that, I suppose, is that whole scene of well, like the most dramatic bits, really, at the end. I mean, that the line "we've crashed, you bloody idiot" kind of sums up my character in that, I feel, because
Cass is like, what the fuck is going on? We crashed.
Yeah. But it's just like, like rather than you've got all these other characters, they're screaming, they're dying, they're holding one another, they're all this drama, they like the full spectrum of human emotions. And there's my character going, oh fuck.
Get out.
For God's sake, everything's on fire and I'm hot already. He's just like, he's taken it to, his panic has gone to a place of frustration and anger, which I kind of feel like I would probably do. So that was a very natural thing for me to do. And that's just it was an incredible incredible kind of moment, really, because you're recording those scenes and you've got Chambers screaming and other people like coughing and dying and falling about all over the place, and there's me still trying to be that person who's trying to keep it together and organize people, and there's a person over here, we've got to rescue them, and all that kind of mentality to it. And then it all kind of goes to the going through the names of the actual people, and really kind of bringing it home to
We
how
spoke
that
about this
must have
on the
felt.
behind the duvet for it, but
Yeah,
so we always have like the little chat open on Zoom when we do our private premieres, and we're all there making a joke about the fact that Chris Walker Thompson's character always goes for a cigarette and all this stuff. And we were saying we should do shots every time he's mentioned going for a cigarette.
yeah.
And then George done his scene where he's climbing up the ladder, and Chelsea's just went, "Oh crap, it's now." And then we all just kind of stopped. We all stopped chatting. We all just kind of. I wouldn't mind, but the list of names at the end is 8 minutes long, which says it all, really. Like, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was like that in recording, I think, if I remember rightly as well, because there was just a huge amount of camaraderie in that cast, and there was so many laughs and all the smoking jokes and all the rest of it, and everyone just having a really good time. And then we got to that bit at the end, and it just kind of shifted, didn't it? The
Yeah.
whole tone of the recording just completely shifted. And even though we were kind of still kind of like bigging each other up, and because it was really difficult to do with like all the coughing and the screaming and all the emotion and everything, it was really kind of
I remember because
grueling.
Chelsea directed it, and she was like, right, when you get past this scene, I can't remember what number it was, that's when shit hits the fan. That's when everybody like
Yeah,
switches their game on, and
yeah.
like, and
um
we all well, I say we, I'm not even in it, I was there. Like, I do salute like every single one of you lads that was in that, because you took it to the right level. Like, you treated it with the right level of respect. But on the other hand, it wasn't a boring recording.
no,
It had the right
but I
like
think we,
levels.
we were recording through that, and there was all that banter going on in the recording, and it was just because we were kind of having fun with it. But then as soon as we hit, I think it was like scene 21
Yeah,
or
20
whatever it was,
something, yeah.
and as soon as we hit that, actually the banter was still there, but it was almost kind of, we were trying to kind of bring ourselves back up again after doing those scenes, and have it coming to the end of them and kind of
I
just
feel like
wanting to cry.
it's the same equivalent. I think like Chelsea does it all the time. So she'll do this really big emotional scene. She'll be blubbering. She'll be crying her heart off. And then it'll come to the end of the recording. She'll be like, "Was that all right, Jin?" Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's the same equivalent. Like,
Yeah.
was that good? Did I cough
Yeah.
okay? Like,
Although there was a funny bit I seem to remember. I think we were doing, I can't remember if we were doing the recording or the rehearsal of the scene, because I can remember feeling, I did feel a little bit of a weight on my shoulders at that point, because I think I was one of the first
yeah, you
lines
were, yeah.
after that. And again, for my character, not being one that's sort of like screaming and running around and all that, and being that kind of, "Oh, we crashed, you bloody idiot," that kind of character, it was kind of crucial to get that right. So that was the bit for me that I really wanted to make sure that I nailed that.
Because your character was the first one to talk when the ship crashed,
Yeah,
and the last one to talk
yeah.
in the aftermath.
I was really, really
Deliberately done.
I was really, really like, it was one of those things when I first read the script, I was just like, "Oh, this is all right. Yeah, cool. Got this, got this." And then when I reread it for the second time, and I thought, shit, my character kind of frames the incident.
Yeah.
And because my character is so kind of matter of fact about it, because he's kind of, that's the way he's coping with it, I've got to pitch that right. I've got to get that bit right, because if I don't, this is all this is all going wrong. So I did feel the pressure of that. And I can remember, but what made it work and what kind of broke the kind of stressful kind of moment being an actor was I was psyching myself up for it so much. I seem to remember leaving a bit of a pause before I started, and then I think it was you, Abby, just went, "Start coughing," start coughing, and then I couldn't do it for like about a minute because I was too busy laughing.
If I remember as well, because obviously this was, talk about thrown in at the deep end. This was James Wall's first audio with us, which is why I put him with you, because I knew you could, like, it was like when I put Chelsea with Razzle on, I knew that you could kind of like hold their hand and kind of train them in a way,
right?
Like, and I remember because I was like, start coughing, and then he fucked his line up, and then
yeah, I kind of like fell off the grid at that point, because it was just like, because it brought me right back down again, but it was nice, it was needed, because then I think it took the pressure off, so then I actually could just do the line as it needed to be done the sort of like the second time round. But yeah, it wasn't until kind of like I reread it, I thought, oh god, and then when we got to that point in the recording, I was just like, right, okay, your office is on fire. Everything is on fire, the roof is falling in like around you, and your best friend sort
and
of like
Cass.
Cass is on the floor, and literally I was just there kind of like taking a moment, kind of going, right, the microphone's on fire, everything's on fire, it's just all kind of like, that's where you are. And even that, I'm doing it now and my heart's kind of going and that's kind of where I took it. And yeah, hopefully it came off.
It came across like the whole audio, even like from start to finish. Like, I know it was a big ask for you lot for the actual crash and things, but like all the way through, I feel like it worked. It did.
It was great. Yeah. I mean, and I'm all about that. I mean, when I used to act on stage, we used to do a hell of a lot of really quite dramatic stuff. And those for me were always the best scenes to do, those really kind of poignant or really kind of tragic.
I think the thing is as well, because the next pure historical to come out is Match Girls. Now that has some like tragic bits in it, but at least it ends on a high. Whereas that doesn't happen with R101. I describe it as there's a show called Dear Evan Hansen, and that is not the show you see if you want to leave the theatre smiling. That's just the show you see if you want to leave the theatre like. And I feel like that's R101. I feel like at the end of it, I'm going to put a cheerful pat bite.
Yeah. Here's a link to a happier video.
Now listen to Strax eating sherbet lemons.
Yes, we need something else. Just like
happy audio.
But that's the thing, isn't it? It's like it's all really good entertainment, and you can have some of these that are just easy listens. Those that take you off to another place, which I hope Future does. And then you got these ones that are really kind of, they're real sort of reminders, I suppose, tributes is the word I was searching for there, to actual historical events and things that have happened, and that's very much R101. But that's what I really enjoy about working with TT, is because you have like that full spectrum of everything going on. And if you don't like those full-blown audios, you've got one set in space, so yeah, exactly. Exactly. If you don't like historical events, we have werewolves, we've got like all sorts of and we've got new monsters as well. Yes. New monsters. So at the time of recording this, we've got the Future story Miasma coming out, which has got new monsters. I think the first one's out. The first one's out already, yeah. So the second one will probably be within reaching distance. Yeah. Because I went to the Operating Theatre Museum the other day because research for a character in Reanimated that Jed is playing, fun times. But they had all the like old school herbs out, and then they had a mask and it said miasma, and I was like, ha! Oh, there it is. So like, Abby's there writing her historically, factually correct stuff, and I'm there kind of going, no, let's just twist it into something else. Let's just do that.
No, Abby, stop it. No.
Let's just do two halves of the same coin here with what we're trying to do. But no, it's great fun. It's great fun, and I have got loads to do for you guys in the future. Loads of writing,
Are
loads of
you going to be
acting.
trying for Match Girls at all?
Potentially. I mean, what's really lovely for me at the moment is that because you guys are also very, very understanding of the car crash that is my life. Or no, let me be specific. Let me clarify that. The car crash that is my workload, that is crazy. And you kind of, obviously we all know one another well enough now. It's really flattering, actually. It's really lovely to have people come to me and just go, can you just try this? I think you'd be really good for this. Can you try it and see if we can work out? So the most recent thing that I've done, which may be historic by the time this comes out, I don't know, but I went down the casting list for Queer Series 3.
Oh yeah.
And I literally just kind of went down kind of going, Jim, do you want this? And how about this one? I kind of basically went down all the characters that I could humanly play on it. So I've been cast for a handful of those, which is great fun.
Tip into queer a little bit.
Well, and that was really nice as well, because it was like a bit of a playground, because there's so many different characters on the list to play across all the different stories.
I'm just stuck as Jennifer in that lot. I will forever be the Northern Jennifer.
You know your lot in life, Abby. You know where this is going.
Am I queer? Yeah, it's Jennifer. Okay, I'll get my Northern on again then.
Okay, there she is. Right.
There she is. She's back.
She's back. In she comes. No, so I think, yeah, I get quite a few things to do. Not all villainous either. Some fun, nicer characters, or some sort of morally grey characters going on in there, I think, as well. And one with an Australian accent. So Joy.
Well, we need to cast an actual Mr. B for Match Girls, just an FYI.
Okay.
Yes. An actual Mr. Bryant, not a weird concept that I came up with. Yeah. Makes you worry about my brain, really, doesn't it?
Well, we stopped asking questions now, Abby, really, to be honest. We just go with it. We just go with it.
But this is the thing I realized while we were doing the Molly 2 script read, because a fair few new viewers haven't listened to Before Bastra, even though that was basically how the channel started. So this is going to be their first introduction to Mr. B, and I'm like, oh Lord.
Oh dear, hold on to your seats,
hold on
everybody.
to your seats, people. Have fun with that.
Get your sick bags at the ready.
I can't say that line. Abominable.
Abomination. I don't know. I'm guessing.
That's the one. The second one. He's not
Abomination.
He's not on the abominable stoma. I can't say that. I can't say it.
An abominable snowman, as opposed to an abdominal snowman, which is something completely different.
Oh Lord, is there anything else you would like to mention about TT Wise?
TT Wise, it's a privilege. Yeah, well, it is, but no, it's great. There's so much more going on, and there's so much more to look forward to, and it's really nice now that some characters that I've created for TT are now being picked up by other writers and things like that. That's really fun. Really nice for me, because then I'm just sort of script editing rather than doing the writing and things myself, which is really nice to see. There is loads happening for Future. There's loads happening with how Future connects to other TT lines, and yeah, I'm just kind of really excited to start sort of thinking about writing other things for TT. But I'm also loving the fact that I am now one of the TT stock voice actors that just kind of comes in and plays a human slug or something.
Human slug.
No, but this is the thing. There's other scripts. I don't know quite where we are with certain other scripts, because there's just so many ideas. I mean, it's just a hotbed of creativity in TT.
This is the thing because you got to think. So, writer wise, and we got guest writers as well. So obviously, there's me, you, Jim, Chambers, Strax, Mart, Jed, Josh, Jimmy Wolf is writing something for us as well.
This is
Like,
crazy in itself because I can remember, I think it was on the Roundup video that we did ages
mm,
ago, not long after it had all kind of kicked off. And I didn't even realize this at the time, but I think you said on that video, Abby, that I was at the time the only other
yeah,
regular
yeah.
writer other than yourself, TT.
So basically, within a year, we now have 9 writers, which is one reason why
Crazy.
it's one reason why we don't tend to go through 2 weeks without an upload, because we have stuff coming from so many different
Yeah, yeah,
places.
yeah. And that is brilliant, and it's just really, it's really exciting for me now because I get to see quite a lot of what's going on, because people like to come to me to talk about scripts and things like that, which is always a pleasure. But also from the voice acting point of view as well, is, you know, just having people now kind of going, Ian, do you mind having a go at this, or have a
Yeah,
look at this. I love that, because you know, you're not always right for a part, that's absolutely fine, but it's lovely to try
yeah.
and do lots of different things. And for me in particular, it's always quite fun to come in and do those little bit parts and things as
I'll
well.
say this though, like people who want to try out for any TT productions, because we do casting calls very often.
Mm,
I have had TT as audition and they've not had the role
mm,
because they weren't right. Like
mm.
Strax has auditioned for stuff, Zach has auditioned for things, and I've listened and I've gone, no. So just because they're like main cast TT doesn't mean they're gonna get it, because if they're
Well,
not suited, they won't.
and this is the thing, I mean, for a long time I kind of considered myself that kind of, that person who'd come in and do like baked bean salesman, or the man, like a man two,
Man too.
man three,
So
you know.
I've just cast Josh as man. And he's
That
like,
was,
what?
he has taken on the mantle of
He will be
man.
man.
He will now be man. But I like that because you know, if you're playing those parts, you can almost have a bit of fun with them, because you know, you can kind of come in and as long as it's contextually
Mm.
correct, you can be from wherever you like, do whatever you like. You can give your little, you can give man a backstory, uh, if you really want.
Brookman is
Yeah.
evil.
How did Heinz Baked Bean Man end up selling Heinz Baked Beans? Oh, I missed one. Missed one. Now that I think about it, I've been in Melvin Mysteries.
Ooh, I always
Oh,
forget about Melvin.
yes,
And
Melvin.
it's nothing against Jim, but it's because I was involved in episode 1 and then like that's the only involvement I've had.
Yeah.
So like,
So
and I
so
was Jennifer.
I was in episode 2, and that's the only
Oh,
involvement I had. So I came after you, and yeah, so I was playing Jasper in that. Once again, it was very up himself kind of character that I got to play in that. Although the nice thing about that one was he had like a secret side to him, um, and I got to play kind of android Jasper in that as well, which I quite like.
Melvin is so much fun. Like I know there's more getting done as well, so they're
Yeah,
quite because they're quite similar to Pat Bites in a way. So it's quite nice to
yeah,
have stuff that's just short, sharp, and
short,
simple to
sharp,
listen to.
and done. Yeah, but yeah, they're always more. In many ways, they're always a lot of fun to do, really, because you can kind of come in and you can kind of create a little bit of a narrative around this character that's only got 1 or 2 lines, and then you go away and you come back and. But yeah, but I know that I know that I've got some bigger parts coming up, which is quite nice to do, because now people are a little bit like, Ian
Oh,
can do that.
Ian.
Ian can do that. And I just want more villains and monsters as well. You know, in amongst trying new things and pushing myself to do different things, I would love to have a staple of villains and monsters, because yeah, that's great fun. I have got a part coming up where I'm going to spend the entire of the script pretty much talking from the back of my throat.
Oh, been there.
Yeah, it gets messy, doesn't it,
Yeah.
really? You know, it's going to be one of those kind of creature feature type voices, which is going to be fun. But And then I got the script for that when I was thinking, oh, that's fine. And a little bit of that, I can keep that up for a little while. And then I got the script and I was just like, I've got quite a lot to say. Quite
Damn
a lot
it.
of complex speeches to come out with.
Lots of water providers.
Yes, just going to gargle my way through it and hope for the best, really. But no, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. There's a huge amount, really, a huge amount.
So thank you for joining me, Ian. Let me just get my little list up again so I can actually say who the hell I have next, because I always forget, because as I said last time, I don't record these in order, which is great, really. Where the hell is my list? Right.
It's a bit confusing, really.
Grace.
Oh, Grace.
Grace Beard.
We love Grace.
We love
Miss
a bit of
Erin.
Grace. Miss Erin. Yeah, she's fantastic. We love her.
Yeah.
She's very underrated. Yes. So thank you for joining me. Join you all. See you all. Do something at some point and stuff and things. Bye bye.
Abby needs sleep. Bye.
Abby officially signing off because her mouth has stopped working. Thank you. Bye.